everyone, welcome back. God is a Girl here. Welcome to part 2 of my sort of graphic design for beginners tutorial. So last episode I showed you guys how to do some lovely panels, basically something simple just to get us started. Oh, I'm hosting Magma. I can't show. Okay, well, anyway, it's basically this screen. So now I'm going to show you guys how to do something a little bit bigger with a few more layers, so that way you can create some scenes, like a BRB screen, a background, which is what this one is, in case, you don't want people to see your desktop background or something while you're like switching into game and like it doesn't quite load yet onto your OBS or something like that, as well as like a stream starting soon screen, an offline screen, all of that fun stuff. This is just the basics. So again, I'm not a professional graphic designer. One day I'm gonna pay somebody to do these and make them really great for me. Today is not that day, and today is the day that I teach you guys how to not pay people to do things quite yet. So, plus, even though your graphics may not look the absolute best, they might not be the most professional, like mine right here, not the best. I can be honest about that. I know they're not the most beautiful and professional looking. However, the nice thing about making your own, especially on a free program that you can use literally anywhere because it's online, is that you can change them and you can update them as much as you'd like. So you can change the wording, or like say your Twitter handle changes, you don't have to contact your artist for your like screens or whatever and be like, hey, can you change my Twitter handle? How much is that gonna cost for you to update my things? Because I did a thing and I made a change and now I would like my change to be reflected on all of my things. And then you don't have to sit and wait for an artist to get back to you with that. You can do it right away on your own, which is great. So yeah, that's the plus side. Anyway, so we're going to be working on basically this today. So I opened up my texture, I have my background, I have my Twitter logo, and I have my emote that I would like to have. So we can see all of that here. We have the gradient, we have the emote, we have the Twitter logo, and we have the texture. So what we're going to do is go File, New, and Background. Oh, I can type background draft. There's a T at the end of that. And the ratio that we're going to go with is the beautiful, the standard, lovely 1920 by 1080. Because that's going to be the standard of this here. You know what I mean? So, oh, she changed her overlay. Oh, I like it. Oh, it's so cute. Good job, Magma. I love you. Anyway, so that's what we're going to go with is the 1920 by 1080. So width always going to be more than the height unless you want your image to turn out vertical. Don't be like me who forgets that it's not 1080 by 1920, it's 1920 by 1080 if the width is first in your program that you're using. Anyway, so again, we're just going to do transparent background, just so that way we know we can do it. You know what I mean? So create, booyah, here we are. And then, honestly, I could have probably just worked off of this, but I'm trying to show you guys things about ratios. I don't know why. I'm not a professional. Anyway, back to what we're doing. So we're going to start with the lowest of the low layers here. So if we look at the layers, the very last thing is the background. And you can see I made a change here. I flipped the way it went. So we're going to start with that. So we have the peach on the left and the pink on the right. I did that. I can't remember what scene or scenes it was for. Oh, you know what it was? It was for my BRB and stream starting soon screens. I wanted to have my chat on the right, and then I wanted my alerts and like, oh no, the text saying like BRB and stream starting soon on the right or on the left. And my chat, I couldn't really get like a drop shadow on it like I wanted, or like a dark like outer glow shadow on it. So it was just white text or black text, and I didn't like the look of the black text, so I wanted the white text to stand out a little bit more. And white text on this light peach color, probably not going to look that great. white text on a little bit of a darker pink color, you're probably going to see it a little bit better. So that's why I flipped it. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to flip it. So we're going to go image size. Oh, what? Wow. Okay. Image, transform, and flip horizontally. So now we have the peach on the left and the pink on the right. And again, we are going to do our fancy dancy. Control A to select the whole thing. We have our dotted lines. And then Control C to copy it. C as in cat. And then we're going to head over to our draft template. And we're going to do Control V, V as in Victor, like my dad, to paste it in here. As you can see, it's looking great already. Fabulous. So the next layer is our texture. So that's what we have here. Right now, it looks very opaque. That means that you can't see through it. That means, like, transparent is the opposite of opaque. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go for it. We're going to do Control. Actually, we're going to first check the image size. It is our lovely 1920 by 1080 ratio. That's the 16 by 9 ratio. That's the standard nowadays. So perfect. Awesome. So we're going to do Control A. And then we're going to do Control C. And we're going to come over here and we're going to do Control V right on top of it. And that basically makes our background look, actually not look at all. You can't see it. You can't see it. If I hide it, you can't tell. So what we're going to do is take this texture and we're going to make it a little bit transparent. Not fully transparent because then you wouldn't see it at all. But we are going to lower the opacity, which we see here. So what I had it on my existing one is 36%. So that's what I'm going to go with here. You'll want to play around with the percentage to see what looks best for you and what you like best. But you don't want it to be fully transparent because then you won't see it at all. And you don't want it to be fully opaque because then you won't see your background at all. So we're going to go with 36% and let's see what that does here. Boom. So that makes it, I don't know why it was 36%. I think I was using the slider and you never get like, oh my God, good, like exact numbers with it. Anyway, so here you can kind of see a little bit of the texture. Not a ton, but it's a little bit. So that way when I have that white text of the chat without anything going behind it to pull it out from this, we're gonna have some differentiation because it's not a flat image anymore. Plus, that texture was a gradient with the outside being darker and the inside being lighter. So we have this sort of vignette going on here. So it kind of draws your eyes towards the middle of the screen, which is great. And I love that. We don't want the outside of the image to look equal to the inside of the image. We want to draw people to the middle of the screen where the important information is going to be. So first thing is first. Well, not first thing. This is now third thing. The third thing is we're going to pop in our cheer emote. So we have that here. And again, we're going to do Control A and a Control C. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to do Control V. Oh, it's so little. We're going to have to make it bigger, okay? So we can do that. So we're going to do Control Z. I said this in my last tutorial, but just to go over it again, I have yet to find a way to get just one layer of an image to resize while keeping a fixed ratio. So what I do is I just do Control Z to get rid of it. I come back here, and since it's the only layer on this project, this tab, we can go into image size, and then what I'm going to do instead of pixels, so I'm going to go with percentage, and I'm going to make it twice as big by making it 200%. Oh, and we want it to be linked, so that way both are changed together in equal ratio. So let's say this was 3:4, like 300 pixels by 400 pixels. Then if we change this to like 900 pixels, then that gets multiplied by 3 and it's 1200 pixels. So that way the whole thing is 3 times bigger, but it keeps the same ratio, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so now that it's twice as big, it does look kind of fuzzy, but let's see how it looks on the full size of the image. So we're going to do Control C, hop over here and do Control V, and there we go. So it's still, I would actually say it's a little bit big now, which is good because that means that we can get it closer to its actual size if we do Control Z and come over here. And see, that's the problem with this program and where I'm at with it right now is there are a few, you know, tests that you need to do to get things to look the way you want it to. Unfortunately, it's not super quick and easy with this kind of thing, but it also isn't terribly difficult. So now that we have it back to its original size, I just did Control Z on this, so that way it's back to its original size. I'm going to go to image size, percentage, and instead of making it 200%, I'm going to make it 170%. So that way it is a bit bigger, but it's not quite as big as it was before. Come back over here, Control V. Perfect. I like that. I think that's a good size. It's not too big. It's just what I wanted. And let's look at what we were doing again. So, oh, I guess I probably did have it at the 200%. Whatever, it's fine. So what I'm going to do is make it flush with the bottom because, as I mentioned in my last, in part 1, this image is not technically complete because if you were to imagine this hamster as a whole in real life, it has legs. So it's cut off at the bottom. So I'm not going to have it floating like this Twitter logo where it is complete. You can see the whole, apparently you're not supposed to call it a bird, but it's a freaking bird. So I'm calling it a bird Twitter. Anyway, the whole Twitter bird. But here you can't see the full hamster. So I'm going to come back over here and I'm just going to drop it down so it's flush with the bottom. Beautiful. And you will also see here that I have this nice glow around it, which I briefly went over in part 1. This glow is a little bit stronger than I did in part 1. So we're going to mimic that over here. Going to make sure that's the layer selected and then go over to layer, layer style, outer glow. So you can see it a little bit there. It's saving my settings from when I did it before on the panel. So you can see that you can actually barely see it. You can see that you can't see it. So we're going to make that a bit bigger. So we're going to turn up the size a little bit. And we're also going to turn up the spread a little bit, just so that way it's a little bit thicker, basically. I don't have a good way of explaining the spread versus the size versus the range. I don't even know what jitter is, to be perfectly honest. What's that? It looks, both sides look the exact same, so we're just going to leave that at 0%. So yeah, that's a little bit fuller. So it just pulls it out from the background a teeny bit more. It's still not super intense. Like if I had it here, that's a little bit much. That's just a solid like background around it. We don't want that. So we're going to have it about there. Just whatever you feel looks best. And there we go. So that way it's pulled out a little bit from the background. Now we're going to take our lovely Twitter logo. How big is this? Let's find out. Image size. Pixels? It's a bit big. So what we're going to do is probably make it about the same size-ish of the emote that we put in there. So I'm going to put it at 150 pixels by 150 pixels. That way, it's a little bit smaller. And again, we're going to do Control A and Control C. We're going to hop over here and do Control V. And I want this guy down here in the bottom. Oh, he's a little small. Do we feel like, I feel like he's a little small. Yeah, let's try to even it out with the cheer emote because I think that'll look a little bit more balanced. So we're going to do Control Z. We're going to hop back over here and do Control Z. And then here we're going to do image size and we're going to do 200 pixels instead. So that way it's a little bit bigger. Control V. Okay, that looks quite a bit better. Since it's floating, the height is almost even with the emote. So I think that looks a lot better. And then what we're going to do, since we have that one selected, and you can even, and probably should, name these. So if I double click on that, I can type in texture. So we have the background, we have the texture. This, we have the emote. This is Twitter. That way we can tell what each of these are. So that way we can move easily between them and know what they are. When you have more than probably like 3 or 4 layers, it's going to be very helpful to label these, especially when they're not text, because text layers will automatically have the name of whatever your text is. Luckily, it doesn't do like text 1, text 2, text 3, and then you're like, what? It just tells you what the text is. So that's very helpful. So we have that. We have it selected. I'm going to put that same glow on it. So we're going to do layer, layer style, outer glow, and it keeps my settings from the last time I did it, so it's the exact same glow as before. I'm going to keep that because messing with it might make things look uneven, and we don't want that. So we're going to do okay, booyah. Now, what I'm going to do is put in text for my Twitter username, so that way people can find me on Twitter, even when I'm offline or on my BRB screen or wherever we are in the stream. If one of my scenes is showing up, they can find me on Twitter. That way they can keep up on when I'm going to be streaming, what's going on in my life, all that jazz. So I want to double check what font I'm using here. It looks like it's OleoScript again. So I'm just going to double check, click my text tool, click on here, OleoScript. Okay. If you can tell, I really like this font. Plus I want all of my things to be cohesive. So using the same font multiple times, great. Okay. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to take our text tool and we're going to click right here and we're going to type in our Twitter username. So in this case, it is God is a girl. Unfortunately, girl spelled normal was taken by somebody who hasn't even used their Twitter account in years. So I'm stuck with this one. And it's already in white text because it saved it from when I did it last time. And I like that font size, but obviously you can change it if you would like. So cool. I'm happy with that. And then what I want to do is make sure that that layer is selected, because what we're going to do is put the stroke, which is that black line outline around it, as well as the outer glow around it. That way it pops out a little bit. Your eyes get dragged to it. Otherwise, it just looks a little bit bland. So we have it selected. We're going to do layer style, and we're going to start with the stroke because we want to see what the glow looks like outside of the stroke. So we want to do the stroke first. So that's what the stroke looks like. And I think I want to make it a tiny bit bigger. So let's see it at 4. Okay. I like it at 4. I don't think it's too strong, but it's eye-catching enough, and it doesn't look like a pinstripe. So personally, that's what I want to go with. So yeah, I'm going to click OK. And then we're going to do the outer glow. So we're going to go layer, layer style, outer glow, and it's going to be the same glow that we have on the 2 images. Now, I feel like it's a little bit much on the text. We already have the stroke on it. So I'm actually going to turn it down. So I'm going to turn the spread down a little bit and turn the size down a teeny bit, because I don't think it needs to be too intense. And there we go. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to do the big old God is a girl in the middle here. I'll even show you how to get it warped like that, so that way it curves. So what we're going to do is put a little text in the middle here, and we're going to type in whatever you would like. BRB, stream starting soon, offline, just your username to remind people who you are, because that's important. So we're going to type that in. We're going to select the whole thing, and we're going to make this font way bigger because we want people to look at this, because otherwise we just have this big empty space, and I don't really want that. So I want this to be nice and big. I'm going to click check. I have that layer selected, and I'm going to go to the move tool and center it so that way that red vertical line is in the center. Now, I don't want it centered horizontally with the horizontal line. Personally, I think it just makes this whole image very bottom heavy because we already have two things at the bottom. So I don't want it to be quite centered. I want to balance it out by bringing it up a little bit. So I actually like it right there to where it is lined up. So that way the bottom of our text is at the center of the screen, or of the image. So I like that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and go layer. We're going to add the stroke. So again, layer style, stroke, we're going to add that. Now it's going to be a lot thinner because this text is a lot bigger. I want this to stand out more than I want this to stand out because it's the center of the screen. It's nice and big. So I'm going to move up to size 7 pixels. Okay, I like that. I think it's nice and bold, draws you, pulls you in, looking good. And now we're gonna do the glow as well. So layer style, outer glow, and this is gonna be really thin because we just pulled it from here, which was even thinner of a glow than our like little images were. So I'm going to make that bigger. So I'm gonna up the size as well as up the spread a tiny bit because I really want this to stand out. And I'm actually gonna make the size a little bit bigger. And we're even going to go to the range and make it a little bit bigger as well. So now this is really standing out right here. One thing I will say is that I do go a little glow heavy. One of the reasons why, especially with something like this, is that my name is God is a Girl. So as you can imagine, I want to look a little bit angelic. I want to glow, like there's a halo around my name, you know? It kind of fits my style and my theme and my branding. So if you think about your branding, maybe it's like pixelated. You might not want to go with such a heavy glow. You might want to go with, first of all, a different font, a more pixelated looking font, and a stroke, maybe a thinner stroke. And instead of an outer glow, probably like a drop shadow or something like that. So you might want to think about what your branding is and how to transfer that into something that is visual. So I want to go with something very angelic and godly like, basically, because my name is God is a Girl. So I'm going to go a little heavy on the glow, personally. Also, it's fun. I like it. It makes me happy. So now that we have that, how in the world do we get it to curve like that? Oh, I actually have the text a little bit bigger on this one. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here as well. So we're going to select all that. We're going to make it a teeny bit bigger. There we go. Okay, beautiful. And then I just want to make sure that it's still centered where I want it. So if you ever change the size of a font or change what you wrote, make sure you go back to the move tool and that you have that text layer selected and that you move it around to get those lines lined back up again. So to get the warp, we're going to go back to the text tool. We're going to click on it. It's selected. The program knows we're working on this text, not this text, and not a new text. So we don't need to highlight it, which is good. We just need it selected. And we're going to go into warp and style. I'm going to click on arc. I think I like this one the best, but you guys can always, doesn't matter if I scroll down. This is all they have. But you can look through these, try these out, see what you like best. Maybe the bulge might be good if you have more of a cartoony type branding. So that could be good. But yeah, you can do so many different things with this. So we're going to start with arc, and it's going to look crazy at first because it starts at 50% and we don't want that. So arc, and see, it looks crazy. It looks like a balloon. It looks like it's on top of a balloon. We don't want that. So we're going to turn it down. We're going to bring this down to wherever we want it, wherever we think it looks best. And you can play around with these as well. So that's the bend. And then we have horizontal distortion. So if we do that, it's going to go one way or the other. Personally, I don't see a use for that. That would look good, so I'm going to set it back to 0. However, vertical distortion, I could kind of see a little bit more. It's going to do the same thing, but vertically. So you can bring it in. So it kind of looks almost like the Star Wars screen at the beginning, you know, how like the text is coming up and at you and almost like it's going over your head. Something like that. And then you can go that way as well. So that way it kind of looks like it's going around something. So like if you want to put text on a rounded object like the earth and make it look like it's wrapping, that could be very helpful. But for these purposes today, we're going to put it back at 0 because I think that looks better. And that's it, yo. That's it. You'll just want to, oops, can you stop that, please? Thank you. We have all of our layers, everything set up. If you ever want to use the same screen and just quickly like change it up, you can just like hide things and then save it that way, and it'll save with those things hidden, so you don't have to worry about like a bunch of images on top of each other or something, or like starting from scratch completely. But yeah, I wanted to make these videos to kind of share with other beginner streamers how to get started on giving yourself the visual appeal that you really need for streaming and content creation on the internet these days, because people are going to be a lot more caught to this rather than just plain text. They're more likely to see this and go, that is a professional. That is somebody who puts time and effort into their stream, rather than just typing about in the like panel text, you know? It can be done. Like if that's what you want to do, go for it. This is a video for those who want to look professional, who don't have the money to pay a professional. So hopefully it helped. Thank you so much for everyone who stuck around, watched these 2 videos. I hope they were helpful for you. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Again, check out the description for resources and things like that. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos. There's going to be some gaming content, as well as more technical videos such as this series, as well as some life videos. I got a new phone, which means I can record my face, which means my face will be coming to this channel in the future. So keep an eye out for that. Some story videos and things like that. So yeah, subscribe for that. I've heard the notification bell is a good thing to click if you want to know when I post a video. Although it probably won't help very much since I don't post that regularly, and I don't plan to because I don't want to overwork myself. Thank you all so much for watching this video today. I super appreciate it. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos from me, I'm going to be doing gaming videos, more technical videos, kind of like this one, as well as just regular life videos. So you'll see my face on this channel in the future. I got a new phone, and I can record videos with my new phone. So you guys must see my face and some story times, you know what I mean? So definitely subscribe to check that out. I've heard the notification bell is a good thing to click, so go ahead and click that if you feel like it. Thank you so much and have a great day. Goodbye.